Hello, everyone, and welcome to the CTAP Town Hall for Spring 2024. We're happy to have you join us today. My name is Matt Oltremari. I am Program Director and Analyst for Auxiliary Services. And with me today will be Kevin Burns, University Bursar, and Timothy Jackson, who's the Market Leader for Follett Higher Education, our campus store provider. So today, during our town hall, we'll be kind of going over some of the highlights of the CTAP program, provide a little bit of information for you regarding payments, installments, things of that nature, go over a number of things that Follett has rolled out for us to aid with our communication for the CTAP program. And we'll also have a Q&A available. So anytime during the meeting, feel free to write in your questions in the Q&A, and we will get those answered as soon as we can. Most likely, we'll open up time at the very end for a series of Q&A. So we'll go ahead and get started. So what is the Cougar Textbook Access Program? We call this Cougar Textbook Access Program CTAP for short. It does provide access to all required course materials for undergraduate students, preferably on or before the first day of class for one low flat fee for the semester. That does include course materials for your classes that are required course materials. The program is structured so that digital content is prioritized first, and where digital is not available, physical materials will be provided. Clicker subscriptions are also included in CTAP. Just a few highlights of this Cougar Textbook Access Program. Again, it does cover all required course materials for all undergraduate students. You are automatically opted in at registration. So as soon as you register for classes for spring 2024, you are automatically opted in to the program. On your student fee bill, you will see two line items, a CTAP learning material fee and a CTAP learning material tax. Those are two separate line items, the fee itself and then the sales tax that's associated. Again, those will be applied directly to your fee bill. And the total cost for fall, the fee is $299. For spring, it's $299. And then for summer, it's $180. And there is associated sales tax, as I mentioned, that is $24.67 for fall and spring, and then $14.85 for summer. You do have the option to opt out of CTAP on a semester by semester basis. So each time a new semester starts, the opt-out window opens, and you do have the choice to opt out of the program for whatever reason you decide. If you want to stay in the program, that's great, and find that it saves you money, that's wonderful. However, we know that there's not always a cost savings involved, and so that is your choice to opt out of the program. The opt-out is available on the student account on your financials tab. So just look for the opt-out button on the financials tab, and you'll be able to toggle between opt-in and opt-out. The opt-out period is open basically from the beginning of the student fee bill availability through ORD for regular session 1 each semester. And for spring of 2024, that ORD date, that deadline for opting out is January 31st. So we have approximately 2 weeks from now until the opt-out window will close. Again, as I mentioned before, the program is set up to provide digital materials first, and then physical materials are provided if digital is not available. Just a few benefits for the CTAP program. We do think that the program provides transparency. It helps you as a student with decision-making and budgeting. You know upfront what that fee is and can therefore make decisions on whether or not purchasing your textbooks individually would save you money or not versus the CTAP fee. The program is set up so that you receive your course materials on or before the first day of class. Of course, we know that there are some glitches here and there, and not all the materials are available. That is our goal each semester, to make sure that those course materials are available to you. We believe that it creates equity and flexible payment options. It does allow for direct use of financial aid if your financial aid allows for it, and the option of using an emergency deferment or installment plans. And we'll talk about that here in just a minute. You do have a choice. It does preserve your choice with the opt-out option. So it's not a mandatory fee. It is considered an optional fee, and you do have that choice to opt out of the program if you choose to. And it provides a convenience. It reduces the amount of shopping around that you have to do. If you decide to stay in the program, those materials are just ready for you, and really provides that stress-free purchasing experience for you. Some of the opportunities that we look at, we want to constantly improve our communication to you as students, to our faculty, and really to prospective students that we have coming into the university. So we're always looking at partnerships with different campus departments and different groups across campus, and really want your feedback as students to make sure that we are doing the best we can with communication. We're constantly improving our FAQs to make sure that the information that you need as students is there for you. And so we're always looking to improve those and improving the access instructions. And that's something that Timothy Jackson will cover here shortly when he talks about the improvements from Follett. We actually have a couple of email addresses available to you. It's two different email addresses now. We have it kind of structured so that the CTAP UH at central.uh.edu is used for general program questions, confirmation of opt-in and opt-out status, fees, things like that. And the CTAP at follett.com is a new email address that was just added. That will be covered here shortly as well. That would be used more for access questions, things I'm having issues accessing my course materials, or where is this link? That email address, CTAP at follett.com, can be used for those. So I'm going to turn it over to Kevin Burns, our University Bursar, to talk about payment deadlines and plans.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate all of you being here. We want to just go over a couple of financial plans with you so that you all have a good idea of what is at your disposal to be able to help you with your different fees. Matt mentioned design, how CTAP was designed to help you budget and finance for the year. And so one thing I just want everybody to know is how the billing due dates and the payment plans work into that. Primarily, you see on the left side of your screen the different dates we have. A lot of students are enrolled in the spring sessions 1, 2, and 3 right now. So primarily, you all would have already started school and the fee payment would have already passed. But if you were to enroll in some subsequent sessions, such as the 4, 5, and 6, those are the dates for that: the 15th of February, the 14th of March, and the 28th of March. To the right of your screen, you will see the different payment plans. We have the emergency deferment and the short-term deferment. One thing to keep in mind is if you're staying on campus and you need a payment plan that would defer all of your charges to a later date, maybe you don't have ways of paying right away, maybe you're waiting on some finances to come in, a wire or something of that nature, then you would choose that short-term deferment. If you only need to take care of your mandatory tuition and fees, then you would choose the emergency deferment, and that would push it back to April 15th. Now, of course, everyone and all fees are included in the installment plan. So if you were going to do a plan that broke up your payments into 4 equal payments, then you can choose the installment plan. The only thing to remember is we've already gone past that first date. So you would need to be able to make a payment in that installment plan. Now, there's something very unique about the installment plan that I would like to explain on the next slide for you all. So if Matt, you could go to the next slide. Thank you. The installment plan has a unique function to it to where it does take into account your pending aid. So for example, in the first example, this is an installment plan where a student owes a tuition balance of $4,000 and they do not have any pending financial aid on their account. So you would see the installment get broken up into 4 equal payments with a $25 origination fee. However, on the second example, you see pending financial aid of $2,000. In this one, you would see that the $2,000 would cover primarily most of their first, would cover their first and primarily most of their second installment. So if you're getting an installment plan, and for example, you have a balance of $1,000 due on the first, then you would know that if I have aid equal to that amount or greater, then I'm fine. Also on the second, you will see here that if that aid is able to pay for multiple installments, that is fine as well, and you would not need to pay that upfront. Sometimes students would think that they would need to make that payment and then have financial aid refund, but the way the PeopleSoft system is set up, it takes into account ending pending financial aid on your account. If you have a question about whether your aid is pending, you can always call the financial aid office at 713-743-1010, option 5. Matt, if you can go to the next slide for me, please. This is a QR code to let you get to a lot of the resources we have, or just to connect with Student Business Services to get to us. So I'm sure Matt will leave this up for a few moments here so that you can get that and maybe take a picture on your screen and go to it, or pull your phones out. Of course, I'll be sticking around for any questions that you have, but I'm so glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're taking advantage of the CTAP program, and we'll be here to assist you as you continue to matriculate through University of Houston. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Kevin. I will go ahead and move on to the next slide. So just a quick summary of some of the numbers from fall of 2023, just to give you an idea of the participation that you and your fellow undergraduate students had for fall. Out of the 37,485 undergraduate students that we had at the university, approximately 28,900 opted in or stayed opted into the program. That equates to about a 77% participation rate. And out of those numbers, out of those 29,000 students, those students experienced approximately $5 million in savings over retail price for their courseware. So definitely a success for the fall. That was fall 2023, was our very first semester in an equitable access program as an all-in program. So we're very, very happy with the way the fall went, and excited about how the spring has taken shape so far. I'm going to turn it over now to Timothy Jackson. Again, Timothy is our market leader for Follett for the University of Houston system. So take it away, Tim.
Thanks, Matt. I hope everybody's having a Cougarific day. I'm here to just talk about some of the updates that we had to CTAP. The fall semester, we saw a lot of opportunities to improve and make this more streamlined for you guys and for faculty. Just a few of those to just kind of broadly touch over them. We have a Zendesk 24-hour self-service portal. We've got a new customer email that went out to students, and then we had one that went out to faculty. And then we've also had some updates to the digital delivery tool so that we can help you figure out how to access your materials. And really the goal on this was to reduce student and faculty friction points in accessing the digital materials. Again, we recognize that with us not having a view in Canvas, it's really hard for the bookstore to show you exactly where you go without having to get into your account and look for it physically. So we've got some tools now, the CTAP at follett.com. It's managed by people who are super intelligent, far more intelligent than I, and they will be able to assist you with those really tough questions. Where do I go? What do I do? I've lost access. I need help. These are the guys that can assist you. We still do have the CTAP UH at central email, which is really for opting out and what do I do with my fee bill? When will those things be refunded? So you'll need to try to determine which way you want to go, but just suffice it to say the CTAP at Follett is really for any course material that you need help accessing. On the next slide, I've got the Follett Enhanced Customer Support. This is on our website currently. If you go to the UH bookstore and on the second banner that comes into the splash page, you'll find the CTAP FAQ that we've created. In there at the very bottom is this Zendesk customer self-service portal. really what this is for is if it's midnight and you've got homework that's due and you need some help immediately, this has articles on what to do. I found over the last couple days that sometimes it's as simple as just clicking in a different place, or maybe it's having to open both materials, which isn't always intuitive. So these articles are really there to support you guys and make sure that you have the answers that you need when you need them. And not that anybody on here is faculty, but maybe we do. But we also send out faculty emails to set up the courses. Integrating this material into Canvas is crucial for the students to have access, and this step needs to be done. Otherwise, you, the student, can't see the material. So once we've provisioned it, if it doesn't have this step completed, it will just kind of never go anywhere. So the email was sent out weeks ago for faculty to help them set up that LTI integration, and that way they should be able to support you guys in seeing the material in Canvas. And then this is just the faculty digital. The next slide is the faculty digital instructions tool and what it kind of looks like. I'm going to go ahead and skip over this and go straight to the student digital email, which you guys should have started receiving as early as last week. These emails are to kind of inform you on where to go to find your material. I would definitely check your spam because it's coming from a Follett email. And this is kind of like, well, hey, how do I get into MindTap? This email was designed to walk you through those steps to find that product and know how to access it. Now, if you're having trouble accessing it once you found the link, then you could use that CTAP at Follett email to get further support and finally get resolution instead of having to wait, in line hours at the bookstore. Finally, I've just got this final slide here for additional information. And Matt, I'll pass it back over to you.
Thank you, Timothy. I appreciate it. Just to reiterate, I know I mentioned it earlier, and then of course Timothy just mentioned it as well, but just as a little refresher, we do have the two email addresses available to you, ctapuh@central.uh.edu for general questions regarding CTAP, opt-in, opt-out, or fees. And then any course materials questions or access issues, you can use the ctap@follett.com email address. So at this point, we're going to open it up to Q&A. And if you have any questions, again, please feel free to type those into the Q&A box on your Teams meeting, and we will answer those as they come in. We do have one so far in the box. How do I obtain books for a class that the professor has not added the required and recommended books to the bookstore due to technical difficulties? Timothy?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, just to kind of clarify the statement, CTAP does not cover recommended materials, just as an FYI. But in terms of the required materials, if you want to send a email to me, I'll put my email in this chat right here, just with the copy of the syllabus, and I will go from there and work with your faculty member. And I just put it in the Q&A. So that way you can send over a copy of the syllabus. We'll work with the faculty member. We'll get you up and running. If we've used the material before, we could have access to you in less than 24 hours.
Do we have any other questions? We are here to answer anything, any questions that you have regarding CTAP. So please feel free to type those in, and we'll answer them. We have a question here. How do we obtain hard copy books per the request of the professor? Timothy, I'll let you address that as well.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So that's a little more complicated. Probably the easiest thing for you to do is to work with the bookstore. There's my email there. There's some cases the material may be, when you get into like a courseware product like MindTap or MyLab, you might be able to find an option to purchase a physical material for as low as $25. That's not available for every single item, but a good number of them there is. If there's an item that, like, let's say I need to have a hard copy of The Tempest by Shakespeare, and we didn't necessarily have that provided at the time, because usually we work with the professors ahead of time on those kind of one-off situations. We can definitely work on getting you a copy, and typically they want a very specific version, and that's why that's happening. So, you know, with digital rights management, you may be limited to the number of pages that you can print from your digital copy. But there's also that solution to printing the, you know, number of copies you need for class. But just email me. I'll look at your courses. I'll figure out how we can get you a hard copy.
Pause for just a moment to see if any additional questions come across. Not seeing any coming through, so we will assume that we've done a fantastic job and answered all the questions that may have come up before. So wanted to just say thank you very much for everyone for your attendance today. We do appreciate you. If you do have any follow-up questions after the meeting ends, please feel free to utilize those email addresses that we provided earlier, and email any questions, any issues, and we will do everything we can to get those resolved as quickly as possible. So thank y'all very much and have a great rest of your day.